So we're on to episode 15. Do we get some sort of fanfare for this? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we should get an award. I don't know, but this should be some sort of celebration. It's Gamify 24/7. It's episode 15. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for listening. And hello!
Hello!
Yay!
So we're here, we're back for another episode. It doesn't feel like a week since we last spoke, but it seems to be flying by just now. Can you believe we're already like well into May? It's all going a bit too fast, is it not?
I know, and the days are starting to get longer finally with a little bit more sunshine, although it has been pretty cold, windy, which is annoying.
Windy here.
Freezing.
Closer to death, which is good.
And we're closer.
We're
closer to E3. We're 1 week closer to E3.
Yeah, that is exciting. More so than death, but you know, E3's first. Hopefully it's first.
I think they
anyway.
released the times, didn't they? I think they released the times of
the conferences.
The conferences. I think so. GameSpot had some up earlier. I was a bit confused though, because I'm sure when is E3? Do you know the dates off the top of your head?
June the 11th, I think it is, or something.
Right, because I went on the website, because obviously I'm going to be in America at that time, so I was like, maybe I can kid myself into thinking I could like fly over from like the East Coast to the West Coast just to go to it, just for like a day or something. And I'm sure it said on E3's website like that you could get tickets for like the 13th, 14th and 15th.
Yeah, I think the actual the developer one is like from the 9th to the 12th or something. Before. Well, yeah, you've got that for like 3 days before, and then you've got the public side of it.
Right, because I wasn't sure, just obviously like things like Gamescom kind of are a lot closer together. But yeah, they have released the times of the conferences.
Cool. Yeah. I'm off that week anyway, so it's irrelevant. I'll have the whole time to go.
Yeah, I'm going to be definitely in Florida for that. Yeah. So
we'll have to get you on Skype.
I know what I was thinking. I was like, I'm going to actually be able to watch it at decent o'clock instead of having to stay up till 2 a.m. for the Sony conference. Yeah, I can watch it at normal time.
So
that's all go to Florida or wherever it is.
Yeah, I'll obviously still be a couple of hours different what the time is over in LA, but I'll actually be kind of within the same time zone grasp.
Kat's going to get a chance to actually potentially, if you went over, potentially touch the Xbox Scorpio, and it's going to blow your mind.
If only, guys.
Might be poisonous. It's a Scorpio after all. You never know.
Well, if anyone wants to fund my trip from Florida to LA for like a day, then please do get in touch with me for that, and I'll film it and all the rest of it. I'll have my camera over there anyway. I'm going to do a vlog, so.
Yeah, it is. It's getting to that time of year where we start talking about the rumours, and we've kind of been speculating already. And there's a few things today that we'll talk about, some of which are rumours. We're going to do a little bit later on retro section, and we worked out that it's me this week, and I did remember from last week what I was. Anton asked me before we started today, did you remember from last week? And I said, yeah, I actually did. Amazingly enough.
I'm so proud.
I know. Thank you, Anton. I feel like it's an achievement. We'll also talk about what's coming out in May, because I've got a list of the releases. We'll go through those. We've got news of a hybrid console that never was, and before that, a couple of things that are happening and some potential rumours. First of all, let's talk about the Unreal Engine 4 working well with Switch, apparently, according to Epic.
Yes. Well, they've been working on it for a wee while, haven't they? And they announced it a while back, but that was the guys in Japan, Unreal Japan, or Epic Japan, sorry, were saying that they'd actually wanted to do it on the Switch, so the Wii U, but they never got it out in time. And there were just some problems there with the architecture. But now that the Switch is based on PC architecture, even though it's an ARM-based processor, it does actually work a bit better. And they're saying that it's actually really simple. This kind of goes back to those rumours that Emily, I forgot what her second name was, Emily Rogers was saying about it was supposed to be so easy to port over games. And they were basically saying for Unreal games, it's a simple case of pressing a button, and then you do some optimization afterwards to tweak some things, certain graphic things, but it's a one button press and you can convert your game to the Switch. So they said they had something like 20 games in development in Japan with Japanese devs on the Switch, Unreal Engine games, so that's pretty exciting. And hopefully we'll hear some more of that at E3. Again, it's like everything seems to be, E3 is going to be where we're going to hear all this stuff, hopefully anyway, but if they've not got anything to show at E3, it's going to be like, when's it going to come?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest worry for me with the Switch, is that the stuff that's out so far has been brilliant, but it's mostly stuff that you're still able to get on the Wii U, or, you know, that's one of the reasons that Kat hasn't bought into it, as she was saying already. There's nothing there that she's seen that makes her want to have to go out and buy a Switch. So I think you're right, though. I think this could open up possibilities. I really would love it if they could open up to some sort of online multiplayer in the way that Splatoon is, but, you know, is there potential there for stuff that's never been done before on a Nintendo console, because we're now seeing the likes of Unreal Engine being capable on there? Does it open that up? What about things like JRPGs? Is that something we might see a bit more of? Because we've had Nintendo have a history there, but there's nothing new Switch-wise that I've seen particularly. There might be one actually that's coming out, but generally that could open up all sorts of new possibilities too. So where do we go from here with the Switch? And we won't labour this point too much, but what does this mean for the Switch? Does it give us options?
Well, I think Nintendo was saying, based on that they've mastered the Unreal Engine already. So obviously they're good at their own software, their own tools, but the fact that they've mastered it already, you know, I think that opens up the possibility for devs coming in saying we're working with Unreal 4, and if they do need help from Nintendo now, Nintendo can give them the support they need. So instead of coming in and Nintendo's using their own tools and they can't do anything at all because it's completely unknown to them, unreal to them, they can actually give some support there now. So, you know, I think it opens up the doors in that way. You know, it makes it a lot easier for developers to jump on board and port their games over.
As well as that, there's a lot of games that they would not make for Switch. Like, they wouldn't custom design a simulation racing game for Switch. But if it's as easy as they're saying, like I know with Unity, that's like, for games like Snake Pass, it only took a week to port, and from the rumours it sounds like the Unreal Engine's even easier to port games to Switch. So a lot of games that they wouldn't custom build for Switch, like first-person shooters and simulation racing games, for instance, they're just going to get ported over, higher rate of them getting ported over now that the porting is much easier.
I think one of the games they mentioned that they showed when they were doing the talk, because it was a talk in Japan with Nintendo and Epic, and they were talking about the problems they had with the Wii U. But one of the things they said was one of the games they actually showed off testing and showing it working was a racing game.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's a game that's in development. Who knows? It could be something that's going to be coming out. It'd be pretty cool.
Can I tell you my concern for the Switch? My worry is that if it gets opened up too much to the point where it's very easy to port stuff over from other consoles, my concern is that it becomes the kind of second-rate version of what PlayStation and Xbox are doing. Now, I'm not saying that will happen, but what's great about Nintendo and their consoles is they've always had those distinct titles, and my worry is that if it gets saturated with so much stuff because it becomes really easy for third parties to get involved, will it reduce the uniqueness of the experience on the Switch? Because can you imagine if we have all these ports over there and there's nothing unique about them? What's the point? You know, I think there has to be, for me, something different about the Switch because it's a different type of experience. So that's my only concern. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's something that I did worry a little bit about if it gets saturated with third-party titles.
Well, there's probably a couple of things that, you know, I think Nintendo's being quite adamant about how they're curating what games are coming onto the Switch so far, and there's been reports from some smaller developers saying they couldn't even get their games on the Switch because they've already come out on other consoles. So they are already looking for more sort of kind of unique experiences that haven't come out elsewhere to try and get that quality back there. And obviously we all know Nintendo's all past Nintendo seal of quality. You know, I think they're trying to get some of that back where it's like they are, like I said, curating the games that are coming out. But, you know, the Wii, you know, it suffered in one way, but it was the biggest selling console Nintendo's ever had. It sold 100 million consoles, but that was swamped with loads of crap and shovelware, but it's still got enough games that it sold massively, you know, it still had that mass appeal. So maybe it might be a case of that, maybe a little bit more of a balance there, maybe keep out some of the gump. But we're already seeing stuff with the basketball game that's just coming out today. I forgot what it's called now, NBA Jam or something, or whatever it is anyway. But that game already, you know, you look at the undocked version of it, which should be running really, really well. They've got the shadows turned off. They've got a little bit lower quality models. It's not exactly a taxing game, it's from what I can see. And it's like a massive download as well. It's like 7.4 gigs compared to something like Mario Kart. You would think Mario Kart, how good that looks, that'd be a much bigger download, but it seems like maybe they're already taking sort of shortcuts, but hopefully it doesn't go too bad, or hopefully they do make a bit of an effort.
Interesting, we'll see. And good news though, the Unreal Engine. You're all laughing.
sorry, I just talked there for about an hour.
Pause.
So.
Interesting.
Is it my like go-to word whenever I switch off from something? I was listening 100%. I was listening. That was a good interesting, not a interesting, Shaun. So anyway, we'll find out. But it's interesting news genuinely, and it's good news that Unreal Engine 4 is working well with the Switch. That is good news, and hopefully it does mean it opens the door for some really good third-party titles in the future. So we'll keep an eye out. I think that's the thing. We just don't know an awful lot about what's happening, and I think that's where the speculation comes in, and the worries, and then the concerns, and it'll be great. It's already great. Right, let's move on then. Battlefront 2, I'm excited about it because it's got a single player campaign, potentially, and the trailer looks really good. And interesting news that we might be, or there's rumours that we're going to have some VR support for it as well.
Yes. Yeah, hopefully there's the more VR missions. Even if it's on the one, I'll be alright, but the single player campaign, we've all discussed this. Mm-hmm. We're all looking forward to that. But I think if they can put some more VR content in there, then, they're hitting two of the cool things that were maybe lacking or could have had more of it in the last game. So, exciting times. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully they have got some really cool VR stuff.
I think I'm probably the only person in the world who's sitting there like looking at the VR content. I'm like, I can pass.
Did you try the Star Wars one?
I have not. I'm just sitting here.
I didn't try it either.
Really?
No, I didn't. I love Star Wars.
I thought you tried it.
No.
Oh, I'm
wearing
get these
Star
guys.
Wars leggings right now. Come on.
Next week, I'm going to give these guys a shot of the Star Wars experience, like that level. Yeah. Next week, they'll be coming back saying, yeah, VR stuff in Battlefront 2.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here. It's like my favourite developer sitting here making it. I'm like, you could go back to what you were doing before. This is cool, but Burnout's good.
What makes it so good, the VR experience? Because I'm completely, as you know, I still haven't experienced VR in any way. Oh, by the way, on that, Rajiv, do you remember Rajiv that we spoke to in episode 3?
Yeah.
Oculus.
Who's doing the Oculus Rift demonstrating.
He's got as an Oculus Rift.
No, not quite. But he does have an Oculus Rift. He's been given one for himself, and he's going to come up here over the summer, and he's going to take it with him, and we'll test out whatever's happening at the time. So we'll do that just before.
And by up here, you mean to you, not to us.
Yeah,
but Michael says we're going to test it.
You're all welcome up for the day. I'll put the kettle on. It's fine. But yeah, he's coming to visit me. But we'll maybe come down and see you.
You'll love it because I assume he's getting the touch controllers as well. Yeah.
As far as I know, he's getting the whole thing, whatever the late at the time.
Shebang.
So
yeah. My brother bought the Oculus Rift to do some development stuff on it. And he finally spent some cash on a decent PC for it and stuff. And I went down and checked it out at his house and had a shot of it. And, it's funny because the touch controllers are definitely the best controllers, without doubt. They're like the best developed ones. They feel great in your hands. But the quality of the experience itself, visually, it's not that much different from the PlayStation VR, surprisingly. It's like the PlayStation VR, even though it's half the price, can stand up to it quite well. Although it's not half the price now because this came down in price anyway. But yeah, there's not actually that much difference between all three of them, the Vive, the Rift and the PlayStation VR. It's the room scale stuff that you'll probably enjoy quite a lot, depending on what he's got with his cameras. If he's got 3D cameras, you'll be able to enjoy that a bit more. But even with 2, it seems to be rock solid tracking. Unlike the PlayStation VR, that loses it sometimes, which is a bit annoying. And that's what creates some of the sort of sickness in your head, Yeah. You'll love it, Mike.
Looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to the update that you were talking about last week, where they're looking at trying to improve the tracking so that your eyes are, so that the main focus is the higher resolution and everything, so just to try and take away from that kind of sickness feeling, because I'm someone that gets car sick in the car, like literally from a passenger in a car, and I love roller coasters and things, but there's certain ones, and honestly it's like one time only deal for me, and then that's me for the day. So
yeah, it's more like I found like it wasn't so bad when I did like the PlayStation
Worlds.
The Worlds, yeah. When I was doing that, it was cool, and Job Simulator, fine. But Resident Evil 7 was okay when I was inside the house and when it was a bit darker, but when I was outside at the start, the world was a bit overwhelming. It just looked there was too much going on, and I was like, oh, this is weird. This is really weird because it feels like I should actually be outside, but I'm not, and I'm really aware that it's not working like my actual eyes do.
I won't lie, I kind of share the same sentiment. It's Resident Evil 7. I think it's, for myself, it's the walking around that makes it a little bit more disorienting, but for some reason that's like the most disorienting VR game so far.
Interestingly, I'm not really sure how Resident Evil has been made in the VR side of it, but I did read something about VR, and it was the guys who made Battle Tanks, I think it is, or whatever it's called, Battle Tanks on the VR, PlayStation VR, and they were talking about how they've been working on stuff behind the scenes and checking like mathematics to solve some of the problems with sickness. But one of the main things they found that made people sick was if you artificially tilt the horizon, even though it makes sense in the game, your brain automatically knows that it's wrong. So your brain goes wonky and makes you feel sick. And it's a natural response because it's based on back in the day when you were Neanderthals or whatever, and you would eat dodgy meat and it'd make you feel sick. So your brain would tell yourself to spew it up as quick as possible. And that's what happens in VR. Your brain says there's something not right here, and it thinks it's going back to that same sort of feeling, so it tries to make you feel vomit, like to vomit up as quick as possible. But what they worked out was, even if you mathematically set the horizon perfect, that will eliminate a lot of the sickness, because your brain, even though it looks the same in the game, when it's not done properly, your brain can tell. It just knows that it's right. So what they decided to start doing, instead of tilting the horizon in the game when you turned a corner or something, they left the horizon perfectly straight and they tilted the vehicle itself. Whereas a lot of other developers have been tilting the horizon to try and give that experience, but that's what was causing the problem. So it's interesting how they're working at these things and they're still doing experiments, but that's something that with time will come. That's going to get even better and better. We're going to eliminate these things as we go slower and slower.
That was science according to Shaun right there. Brain wonkiness is a thing.
All right, we're going to move on then to probably or possibly one of the... Stop laughing at me.
Laughing at me.
Oh, laughing at you. Okay, that's fine then. We can all laugh at Shaun. So we're going to move on then to one of the consoles that never was, and this would have been amazing. Tell us all about the Nintendo PlayStation, guys.
Oh yeah, I saw that today on GameSpot.
You must know about this.
I saw it today on GameSpot and I had not heard of it before this.
Really?
Yeah, because I saw it, and is this the only one that's left? Is that what? Am I right in saying that? It's the only one because the others were destroyed.
Yeah, I think the other ones, they found other ones, but they weren't working. None of them were working. Yeah, and it's the only one they found that's in working order, and it was kind of broke, but Ben Heck fixed it. So, but yeah, people know
so
loads of it.
Essentially, what happened back in the day is Sony made a chip for the Super Nintendo. Like, they proposed that they're like, yeah, we've made a better chip than what you're doing in here. Give us a little bit of commission. And then part of the deal was Sony then came along and was like, hey, you liked our audio chips, why don't you use our compact discs? And the licensing deal was, you get to use our hardware, you get better audio, you get more storage space, kind of like the Mega CD did at the time. And Sony would get to make some IPs with Nintendo's licenses, some games with Nintendo's licenses, and then Nintendo was like, nah, we can get a cheaper deal, went to Philips, and then Sony, being a better company that they were, went ahead and just repurposed their PlayStation prototype that they made with Nintendo and made their own console.
I think it was wasn't it called the Nintendo PlayStation? Or something?
Yeah.
Nintendo PlayStation. Yeah. What amazes me about it was that this all started back in 1988, so what's that, 29 years ago, was when they started putting into production this idea with CD-ROM technology and then the SNES. And 1991, when it was finally there was a prototypes made, you think it's so long ago now, and a technology that didn't really happen in gaming properly anyway for a few more years. And it's incredible to think it's so long ago. 200 prototypes were produced, and they've got one, and they've actually got it working as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that he's like that Ben Heck guy. He's a bit of a genius when it comes to that stuff. He's obviously got a degree or a background in electrical engineering, so he takes things apart and he builds like portable Dreamcasts and all these fancy consoles, and they're really, really cool. But yeah, he took it apart and he was just trying to work out what was wrong with the drives, and he managed to get it all working. So I think it's now in the level where you can put in a SNES game or something. It works, can't you?
Yeah.
I think you can put SNES games and stuff, and I think he was saying it's now like open that someone could code a game and put it on there if they wanted to. But you know, it's like a retro console. I think it's just the fact that it's such a rare piece of history that was a massive turning point in the industry. That's what got Sony into the game. You know what I mean? Came out with their own console, and the rest is history after that kind of.
Also brought Philips CDI into the market, everybody's favourite console.
Yeah, wasn't it one with the worst Zelda games ever or something?
Yeah, and the worst Mario ever, Hotel Mario.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that all happened just after this. That was when the deal broke down between Nintendo and Sony. That's when the Philips thing happened. There's actually, if you get a chance, have a look. They've got a boot screen image of what it looks like when this thing turns on. And it's cool because it's got the copyright 1991 Sony Corporation. It says Super Disc on the top. It's no CD-ROM system, so it's kind of cool. So if you get a chance, check out the screenshot. But I find these things, I love these kind of stories when they find something that's just a little bit weird. Do you remember, speaking of slightly weird iterations of consoles, do you remember when they went through a phase of making hybrid televisions and consoles? Mm-hmm. Do you not remember? So yeah, you guys won't remember. You're far too young. So they went through this period of doing like hybrid. I think there was a SNES and a television. I think there was a Mega Drive and a television. There might have even been slightly later consoles too. But basically, little CRTs for your bedroom, usually a 14-inch television, but inbuilt was a console. So the console was in the TV, so you plug your game in, and they were around for a while. There weren't that many made, but you still see them pop up now and again on eBay. So just weird.
What's really, really interesting, I was just telling Anton about this. One of the guys that listens to the podcast, George. Hi to George there, shout out to you.
Hi, George.
He's possibly going to let us get access to a very, very retro console that was just before the crash of 1984, I think it was, the games crash. And it's a console that is almost like what you're talking about. It wasn't a TV and a console in one. It was just a console, but it was one of the first ones with its own screen on it. And it was like a vector-based console. So if you can work that out, let us know in the comments what you think it is. It's probably going to be pretty obvious, but yeah, we should get access to that.
Really not obvious to me.
And it should be pretty cool because it's like an old console, yeah.
That'll be cool. That'll be really good. That could be like a retro section in itself. We'd have to have like a retro half hour. So interesting. The whole landscape of gaming could have been so different if that Nintendo PlayStation had happened. But I want to look at the releases then for May, because there's quite a few that are coming up and on various formats. So what I want to do is go through them, and then if there's something that you want to talk about, jump in, tell me what you think, whether you hate the idea, you love it, and then we'll see where we're at, because we've got, well, I don't know if we'll get through them all, but there's a couple of pretty cool ones in here. So the ones that aren't out yet, starting with the ones that come out, well, they'll be out by the time people hear this, so they'll be out Tuesday the 9th. So we've got a few releases this week. 9th of May, we've got Birthdays, The Beginning.
Never heard of it.
No idea.
What?
Yeah, it's a strange...
What console are we on right now?
This is
what platform
this
are we
is
doing?
PlayStation 4 and PC. Okay, so
Right.
Birthdays The Beginning seems to be some sort of dinosaur-related game, a little bit like Harvest Moon, potentially. It's the guys behind Harvest Moon that have done it, apparently, and
That sounds
Stardew
nice.
Valley.
All right, okay.
That sounds cute. I will maybe look at that.
So it's
If it's
called...
got a demo, you can check it out.
So it's called Birthdays The Beginning, and it's out Tuesday, May the 9th, so it'll be out by the time people hear this. Another release tomorrow, Human Fall Flat on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Anybody know anything about this one?
Never heard of that
Oh,
either.
sorry.
I remember watching it, but like I've seen stuff of it. It's just the weirdest game to explain. Just imagine like Gang Beasts, but a little bit more like platformy.
What's Gangy Beasts?
I've got no idea. I feel really left out.
Yeah, it's a weird
now.
game to explain. Just it's like a weird physics platformy.
I feel like this is like Pictionary, but I still didn't even get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't even explain it to you. It's such
It's
a
a
weird
game.
game.
Well, platforming's probably got me out of it
So
anyway.
it's kind of a puzzle platform. I mean, it's kind of somewhere in between. It's a kind of hybrid of the two. So these are two that are really exciting me, though. Loco Roco Remastered on the PlayStation 4. I'm up for that. Anyone else?
Yeah, that was a great game.
Yeah.
Everybody's just staring at me like.
I never played it. So.
No.
It's a PSP game.
Yeah.
It's one of the launch titles, I believe, and they did 2 sequels. It's kind of just simple like balance, and you pick up bits and you get bigger.
But it's also...
Is that Katamari? I thought it was Katamari.
No.
It's
that's a
before
different game
Katamari. It's
entirely.
also got one of the best soundtracks that the PSP had on any game. It's a really cool soundtrack, and if you get a chance, check it out on YouTube just for the soundtrack alone from the PSP version. It's very, very cool. So they're releasing a remastered version on the PlayStation 4, which is out this week as well, which will be really, really interesting. I'm not sure, because a lot of the fun and the uniqueness of the PSP version was the fact it was on the PSP and you could use the controls, the way that the layout was. It made complete sense. But I guess you could do that on the PlayStation 4. It's just not portable. But so that'll be out this week. Also, NBA Playgrounds, which you guys were talking about. It's a bit like NBA Jam, but they've just got giant heads and it's cartoony. And that
Looks cool. Looks cool.
It does look good. So also out this week is Strafe on the PlayStation 4 and PC. Anyone know about Strafe?
That is insane. And it's like, you know when you see these reboots like Far Cry the Blood Dragon, it's like this insane, over-the-top 80 cell. Imagine that, but in a Doom setting with stupid amounts of gore. It's
Okay.
It looks like an homage to like that 90s like zany, radical, tubular, with just
okay.
explosions and over-the-top
Right,
marines.
yeah.
It looks like a good laugh. Like,
Okay.
I'm going to pick the next two from this week, and then I'll just pick a variety because there's far too many. So the next one out this week on May the 10th is Butcher on the Xbox One, which is a brutal platformer. That's how it's described.
Brutal.
Brutal, yeah. Sorry. We're
Just
just,
makes me
making
think
fun of
of
you today.
That's
Gangs
fine.
of New York. Bill the Butcher. Is it Bill the Butcher? That's right, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's like
sure.
it's like the exact opposite of the game I would buy being vegan. I'm not going to buy the game Butcher, but you never know. I might love it. And I'm pretty sure it's not referring to anything to do. I think it's more to do with the way he butchers people more than anything. So we'll see. And
Right.
butchering people's fine if you're vegan. Right,
Aye,
Minecraft,
perfect.
the Switch edition. That's out this week.
Yeah, again, I've never been a big Minecraft fan, to be honest. I can understand the appeal of it, building stuff, but there's things like Portal Knight is coming out that looks amazing. It's like a mix between Minecraft and something else. I forgot what the other game was, or Lego, I think it was. So there's a couple of games like that are looking a bit more appealing. I've never been into that sort of kind of old school Minecrafty look. I prefer some of the newer ones. But yeah, it's like one of the biggest games of all time, isn't it? So I'm obviously in the wrong there.
We've got a couple of other ones that are coming out. On May the 16th, you'll get to see Injustice 2. Is anybody excited about that?
Everyone looked at me there, and no, I'm not. That
You know what?
excited about it.
I am actually looking forward to that. I had the original one on. I think it was Injustice on the Wii U. Sorry, I had that and I enjoyed it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one because it's got Supergirl and stuff in it. So
That's
yeah.
PlayStation 4 and Xbox One that's coming out on. We've also got the
The big one.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was the big one.
Carrie, what were you going to say?
I thought it was the big one, Michael. Sorry, I know it's coming.
What are you saying?
Oh, well, you'll find out. I know.
Oh, okay.
I'll probably say it because if it's what I think you think I'm going to say, then you'll definitely.
Yeah.
I know which one it is, but we'll see. We've got the Surge, which is coming out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. That seems to be some sort of sci-fi action RPG. They say that it's somewhere between Dark Souls and a sci-fi RPG. That's what it's saying here. So there you go.
All right, that could be cool.
Interesting. So that's out on a few different platforms. Moving on then to later on in the month, we have on PlayStation 4 and PS3 as well, Guilty Gear XRD Rev 2.
Is that a fighting game?
Indeed.
Not sure. I know of Guilty Gear from PlayStation of past, so I'm not sure what that is, whether that's a redone version of the old one. I'm not sure. Also out on the same date is Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, I've seen clips of that. That looks brutal.
Ooh,
that
yeah.
that looks like Butcher.
I think it looks really funny though. Like
Yeah.
it would be really fun to play with friends.
Yeah.
I can imagine playing that. It would be
And
pretty
the-
hilarious.
This is a
Mainly
proper
me.
Friday the 13th one, so it talks about Jason and it says here take on featuring Jason against a group of teen counselors attempting to survive. This sounds like something I think I'd quite enjoy. That sounds fun.
They all deserve to die.
Have you seen like the clips of it being played by people? Like,
No,
on
not at all.
PC?
Nothing
like
at all.
I think it was the beta. It looked absolutely hilarious. Just imagine like you and your friends are kind of just playing this, and I think like Jason can just appear anywhere and you can just leave your friends to die. Basically, that's what was happening in what I saw. People were just like, he's behind you, and just like running away, and they were like, help me, oh my god, he's got a chainsaw, and it just looked really funny. So I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing that.
Never going camping with Cat and you guys, like.
I would just be like, I'm going, bye.
I'm definitely interested in that. That sounds good fun. Rhyme is coming out.
Oh yeah. But it's been delayed for the Switch. That was the only reason why I was contemplating getting it, but it's been delayed until the end of the year, isn't it? Looks nice.
May 26th, it'll be out on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Rhyme's kind of like, it looks almost like Zelda.
Yeah.
Like, you know what's
I've just kind of been looking at it because they unveiled that, 4 years ago now. And,
Did it? Right.
And I'm just kind of sitting here looking at it, I'm like, for a small indie game, it's like, it's not really got any fancy gimmicks. It just looks like it's full of charm, but I've kind of been looking at trailers of it for the past 4 years. I'm like, I'm good.
I'm kind of with Anton on that, actually, because I've been watching the trailers for it too, and just kind of seeing people have a shot at gameplay. Just in the last week or two, there was a video they released with lots of people having a shot of the gameplay, and I like it. It looks really nice. It's very pretty. It looks like it's fun, but it also looks like the fun wears off fairly quickly, and that's my concern with it, that you're getting something that looks amazing and it's nice to play, but once you've played for 20 minutes, well, it's the same puzzles over and over. That's what it looks like to me. Maybe I've totally I've missed the boat on it and missed the whole idea, but that's what I took from it. Silence again.
Episode 15, the episode of awkward silences.
There is like something I'm waiting for as well.
Okay, right. So there's a couple more, and I wonder if you never know. I might not mention them because bear in mind I'm just picking some here. So
I will mention it if you don't.
Good.
Don't worry.
Well, I've got 3 more I'm going to mention. Right. So Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers on the Switch. I am looking forward to this. Is anyone else excited about a new version of the old version of Street Fighter 2?
Hadouken!
No, because it's the Switch. Sorry.
Tatsumaki-sen.
Well, I can't look forward to something I
Yeah.
can't play. So I can, but like. Yeah.
One of the, I think it's the only game I ever completed in the arcades, and I completed a Spanish arcade version of it when I was on holiday. I was obviously enjoying the sun a lot that year, and I think I was about 14, and I can't remember which character it was. I remember that I found a way to basically beat everyone using the same move. So my 50p lasted the whole game, which was fantastic. So I'm going to get it to see if I can figure it all out again. But that's coming out May 26th. Don't Starve Mega Pack on the PS4 and Xbox One. So do you know?
Have I heard of that? I feel like I have heard of that.
Yes, you'll know the
asking me?
artwork for Don't Starve. It's a bit like Limbo, maybe kind of
Yeah.
Nightmare Before Christmas types animation.
That's probably why.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's got that art style, but it's also gameplay wise, imagine like a top down Minecraft, but more about survival, not really about building.
Yeah,
so it's like,
I think I've heard of that.
It's brutally
I think I've seen
hard,
it.
and you've got to really scavenge materials.
See, that doesn't sound like something I'd be good at. I like scavenging. I like hoarding all my stuff up. I don't want to use it though. I just
Yeah.
like to keep
In
it all
games.
in games and in life. People at work will confirm that is true as well, because my desk has got 4 plushes on it now that people have just given me. I got one out of a bin in work as well. Someone had tried to bin a toy panda and I was like, this is not happening. So it's mine now.
So the one that I think that Shaun might be referring to on
Make it so, Captain, make it so.
PSVR Rift and Vive Star Trek Bridge Crew is coming out on May the 30th. Yay!
Yes, baby, yes.
This
you know
is-
what? I'll watch. Yeah.
I was just going to say, this is the time where I'm going to really struggle not to spend my hard-earned money buying PSVR. Sorry, carry on, Shaun. What were you going to say?
You know, I think we've both been looking forward to it, you and me, Michael, and you know, there was always the fact that it kept on getting delayed and delayed. There was a bit of a worry there that maybe it wasn't going to live up to expectations. I've watched several videos now of different guys going down to the Ubisoft studio to try it out, and one of the best ones was Angry Joe. You watched that one? You watch his playthrough of it with his mate.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, man. It looks so much fun. I just hope that like maybe you and me playing it, Michael, will be cool because we will like work together. But it's just if you get the group of people and the people are just messing around and stuff. But it looks like really funny. So I'm just hoping it's got a bit of longevity to it.
Well, they're saying
just, like,
that a lot of people are kind of saying that it's one of the few VR games that has the potential to have longevity just because you can do it different ways, you can bring different people in, and there's the online thing as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, it does look funny. It does look good.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm just hoping the PlayStation VR one works remotely as good as the other ones. Because, yeah, the touch controls and touching the displays and everything, you know? Yeah,
May the 30th, not long to go. Right, I'm going to try and guess Cat's one because I haven't mentioned it, and there's a couple here that I think it could be. Okay. I wonder...
Take some guesses, yeah.
Okay, right, let me guess.
This will be more fun.
Is it, and I don't know how to pronounce this, but is it YS Origin?
No.
On the Vita? Good start.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But
okay, I'm going to guess here. Is this a Vita game?
It's not.
That limits what I was going to guess. Bear with me. Bear with me. Let
Sorry.
me see. Oh,
it has to be a PlayStation 4.
Akiba's Beat.
No, but I do like the look of that.
Yeah,
so
that looks good.
That's a good one. A good guess, but it's not the one I'm talking about.
Okay, is it Skylar and Pluck's Adventure on Clover Island?
No,
I knew it wouldn't be that. It looks like a platform. It's never going to be that.
Cat likes scary games as well. So
yeah, I know. I'm looking through here trying to find what it is that I've missed.
Outlast 2 and Prey, they've come out already.
Maple Festival 2.
Oh, is it one of those ones? No.
Is it what?
Prey or Outlast 2? No.
It's not, but they're both out, aren't they?
Yeah, I was going to say
yeah,
they're both out.
No, it's not out yet.
Let me try one more guess because I feel like I want to get this right.
Okay.
We're going to skip a very long episode.
I can tell you I can tell you the developer if you want, or you can just keep guessing.
No, I'm going to take one more guess, and if it's not right, then you can tell us. I think that it is Utaweru Mono, Mask of Deception.
I wish you could have seen my face there, everybody, as he was trying to say that there. No, it's not that. Sorry, Michael.
And I didn't pronounce that right.
No, I probably not. No, I've got to hope it's coming out this month now because I'll look like a right pillock if it's not. Get Even.
Oh, I had that on my list and I just didn't even look at it because I don't know anything about it. Tell us about it, Kat. Why are you getting this?
All I know about it, well, I feel like I shouldn't get it because I'm still in Persona right now and that would just be a waste of money, but yeah. It looks really cool. It's had some good reviews already, I believe. I think it's like a psychological thriller, horror, mesh, first-person game where like nothing makes any sense. You're not really sure why you're doing things. I believe there's some kind of old psychiatric hospital involved, which is totally my thing as well. Like, if anyone who knows me knows that those are some of my favourite films that are set in those. But yeah, I don't think it's easy to kind of pin it down as to what kind of game it is because there are loads of different styles of gameplay, but I think generally the narratives all kind of mesh and your choices and like personality of characters that you're playing influences the story. This is as far as I'm aware. Obviously I've not played it or anything like that, and games like this I try not to research too much before I play because I want to kind of go in with a blank slate. But it kind of intrigued me. It came up on like my Amazon list, I'm sure, months ago, and I kind of saw it there and was like, oh, okay, this looks like something that I would like. Well, and Amazon's usually right with these things as well.
Wait a second. Is this the game? It's by a company called Farm 51.
They're a Polish developer.
Yeah, is this the ones that went around, they developed the scanning technique for scanning environments and they had them photorealistic? Because that looks like that image.
Oh, maybe. I can't remember who did that. But like the kind of, did you ever see the alpha for Allison Road? Which was kind of like a spiritual successor to PT kind of thing. Right. Mm-hmm. That just like an indie studio, I think in London, were making. They definitely used something like that to recreate kind of a London flat for their alpha, and it looked absolutely incredible. In the alpha, the guy picks up a limb-sit packet and you can turn it around and it's an exact like replica of a limb-sit
It's so good
packet.
You get a cold from playing it.
Yep. It's really it's good. I'm waiting for that game to come out as well. I don't know, there's been a lot of hiccups with its development and publishers backing out and stuff like that. But yeah, this Get Even looks really, really good.
Yeah.
And it's had some good reviews so far. I think, is it the 20-something?
Yeah, 25th of May. It's coming out on
25th.
PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. And yeah, certainly the screenshots look really, really good. And they're talking a lot about the music in it, which I suspect with any sort of suspenseful type game is a hugely important part of it. In fact, it's for me, it's like watching a horror with the sound down. You know, you need the sound and the music needs to be right. And there's been a lot of talk about it being really, really good as well. So yeah, psychological game. That sounds great. That's a great suggestion, actually. Not one I knew anything about until you just told us that.
Well, there you go. I know I really want to get it, but Persona is taking up some time. So
I bet. How are you getting on with Persona, by the way? Where are you? What's happening?
Good. I've not gotten like crazy far into it yet. Again, because I feel like I need a lot of time in one sitting, which only seems to happen at the weekends. Because after work, I just feel like I've not got enough time to do or I'll be up all night, which is actually what happened last night because I just decided to have a lazy day yesterday on Sunday, and so I caught up with some anime, caught up with The Good Wife on Netflix a little bit, and then decided I had some Persona time on my hands. And then I looked at the clock and it was after midnight and I hadn't had a shower or anything. I was still in my pyjamas and hadn't opened the blind all day or left the house. So that's an idea of what it's like. It's really, really fun. It still won't let me do enough, but it's because it keeps still adding little bits. It's trying to not overwhelm me, I think, because they have actually added more stuff. They're just adding more and more layers to like combat and the kind of relationships this time round. Before it was kind of just like, oh, you've made a new pal, here's the new kind of arcana. It's kind of like tarot cards of the personas. They all kind of fall into these categories of like tarot cards. But this, like last time around, it was kind of like, you get bonus XP because you made friends with this person who has this type of personality. You get some bonus XP when you use that kind of thing. Now it's gotten more complicated though. And it sounds like I'm going to have even more things to juggle in the making friends time, because it's now I get abilities depending on friends, and it sounds more and more complicated as it goes on. But I've got a cat in it, so I'm happy.
Good.
So,
Glad.
a talking cat,
Which
is just my life's ambition to be a talking cat. So yeah, it's good so far. I'm really liking it, and the story, like, it seems quite cheery and everything in some ways, but like the story can be quite hard hitting even from the start already. Like the last one, it was obviously kind of about murders were taking place and stuff, and kidnappings and things, but it still had a really light-hearted tone to it, whereas this one's like
dark.
This one started off pretty dark, actually, like abuse and things, suicide attempts, abuse from teachers and things.
Wow.
It's pretty like gets you right in there. So yeah, it gets you really emotionally involved straight away.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting some time to have a game and probably find a spare 100 hours to play it. But if I can find that, then
yeah.
So before we move on to the retro section, then we did this last week, and I thought it was quite interesting just to find out what people have been playing during the week. For me, it's been Zelda, a little bit of Zelda, a little bit of Mario Kart, and which is just fantastic. And I also I picked up for next to nothing actually Yokai Watch on the DS, on the 3DS. We're playing the 2DS version, which is quite fun, very easy in terms of like it's like a kids version of a Pokemon type game, but it's good. It's good fun, and it's got a nice little world in it as well. So I've just been having a wee shot at that when I've had a spare 10 minutes and I'm not on the Switch, which is not that often. So that's been good, and that's been about it. It's been quite a busy week with other stuff. Anton, what have you been having a go at this week?
Kind of a similar setup to yourself. Start mainly Zelda, try 100% it, do every shrine. It's killing me. Mario Kart. That game makes me so angry. I don't
Are you
know.
enjoying it though?
I'm enjoying it, but I'm like rage quitting a number of times now.
I rage
Is that
quit
just like playing online that's
oh,
making you rage quit, or?
I'm trying to come first in every single race, and it's 150cc. You do like 4 races, you're in the last one of the cup, and then somebody throws something at you when you're like 2
Don't talk to me about that. Like, just before I came to speak to you guys, that's what I was doing, and I just rage quit on the 4th race in exactly that circumstance.
See, guys, my advice to you, since we've been talking about how much of a pro Mario Kart player I am, is just don't even care about it. Like, just do it as like a little relaxy thing, and you'll win anyway. It'll be fine. Like, just don't get all raging about it. Like, just easy go it. You'll accidentally do it at some point.
I like your style, Cat.
That's it. Just play it as like a fun little background thing to be doing when you're contemplating life.
Cat's like the most annoying person when she plays games like that, because what would happen is she'd be like, yeah, you know, I just won. It's the way it happens. And you'd be sitting there going, I'm trying to win. God damn you.
Yeah, so you just need to chill, because you'll figure it out. You'll accidentally do it. It's kind of like actual driving. Yeah. I kind of zone out, and that's when I do my best driving. So when I'm really like nervous and like, what are the road signs saying, that's when I'm going to make some mistakes. But if I just kind of drift off a little bit, then I seem to just go on autopilot and it works.
I drift off as well, but it's usually off the track and then into like the middle of nowhere, so it's not a good thing.
Well, yeah, that's the trouble with like split screen for me. Because I have a habit of looking at the wrong screen, and then it's like, why are you just driving into a wall? And I'm like, what? I'm winning. And then I look, and I'm the one still at the start.
Talking about doing split screen with Mario Kart, it's absolutely insane. On the little wee 6-inch screen, you can literally do 4-player split screen on it. It's ridiculous.
It's brilliant. It's such a great fun game with people as well. Actually, that's another thing. I had friends around on Friday night, and we've been playing Broforce. And every few weeks we've played another few levels of Broforce, and we're just kind of working our way through the game, and it's just so much fun. There's 3 of us, and we're as we go through it, I'm genuinely pretty terrible, but then they'll have a level where I'll just blast my way through it, and they'll be like, how on earth did you do that? But that's the great thing about Broforce. You don't need particularly much skill to do it, so it's good fun, unless you're just very good. So that's been the other one I've been doing. Shaun, what about you?
Nothing really. I've been getting the episode ready for Games Lounge, so I played a little bit of Mario Kart the weekend with Chris. We played split screen, and Lindsay had a shot at that, so that was quite good fun. Yeah. And I tried the demo for Master Blaster. It was just a demo came out, so I had a quick shot at that, but didn't really like it that much. It was a wee bit sort of kind of, I don't know, a bit too basic. Preferred something like the Neo Geo games, like, Metal Slug. So, yeah, I've not really played anything really, so I need to get back into some stuff.
Shaun,
but I did watch the review. Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, tell us about Games Lounge then, because we're going to go into the retro section. Before we do that, what's been happening? You got a new episode out.
Yeah, so when you listen to this, the episode came out, been out on Monday today when we were recording this. So that's episode 2, but yeah, we've got a whole section on the Xbox Scorpio with myself and Kat. We've got the review of Persona 5 by Connor, which you watched the review, didn't you?
I watched a bit of it, and then I had to zone out because I was scared that he'd reveal something I hadn't gotten to yet, or there'd be clips of something I hadn't gotten to yet.
It's pretty spoiler free, so it's pretty good. But yeah, so we had that stuff, and we covered some of the Switch Pro controller, comparing that to the other consoles controllers. It's really good, by the way. But yeah, just some stuff like that, and catch up with some news for the previous month. So you want to check that out, that's on YouTube, by the way. Go and check it out, let us know what you think. Leave some comments as well. We've got the competition in that and stuff. So yeah.
I saw a good comment from obviously not a bot asking to meet someone.
Yeah, it said.
I assume that it was me, but I don't know.
Well, it says I think it was the girl that left us a comment before on one of the podcasts.
The girl that left us a comment.
It says, I love you, let's meet. And I was like, well, that's genuine.
Well, do you never, honestly, what if this was a real person who's after one of us?
I'm giving her a shout out.
Well, there you go.
Talking with engagement from our fans, we have hit a milestone on this episode.
Cool.
The Gamify, hashtag Gamify247, we have our first dog. The dog.
Really?
Yeah. The dog of the millennium, I'm dubbing it, because it's the only dog we've got. It's beautiful.
It's a nice dog, actually.
That's very statuesque.
It's brown. It's a good dog.
It's out in the sun doing a nice pose.
It's chill.
Mike can't see the dog.
Wait a minute, I'm just
that though.
I'm twittering right now.
Wait, are you looking?
Yeah,
You're
it looks quite
twittering on
snobby.
the interwebs.
It looks like it's quite stuck up, to be honest.
No.
It looks like a beautiful dog, but it looks like looking.
Well, that's our fan base, clearly, dog-wise. So we've got the high-class dogs.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Meme and Tosh, you have the best dog of the millennium.
Did we not also, last week, there was talk from Mike about me being requested to review bad games.
Yeah,
Anton,
Yep.
you've got an update on that?
Yep, I have been requested. I've been asked, and apparently it's a good idea, and we
Right.
should go ahead. So
Right,
I've
so
suggested
it's-
the first game.
Motion passed and seconded, and what is the first game that I have to review?
Well, everybody loves The Simpsons. Do you like The Simpsons, Mike?
Absolutely. Who doesn't?
I
Do you like The
love The
Simpsons?
Simpsons.
Yep.
Love it.
So I'm thinking you should play Killing Ned Flanders. I think to keep up to date and play the best game they've ever made, Killing Ned Flanders 7.
Are we saying best as in actually the best, or is it the best worst?
You decide.
It's up to you.
Well,
You may
since
love
it's
it.
played bad games, I'm going to assume it is the best worst one. But
It might be the
and
next Persona.
I'm going to play. Well, I'm going to play Kill Ned Flanders 7
Yeah.
on my computer on
Sweet.
the internet
Looking
as a
forward to
flash
that.
game.
I'll send it over to you to play.
There we go.
Can I just give one more shout out as well? I said
Yeah.
I'd do this. One of the guys on Facebook, it was his birthday last week, and he was in his house by himself. I think he's a soldier, by the way. He was in his house by himself on his birthday in his sleeping bag, and he was really sad about it. And everything. I said, check out the podcast, it'll cheer you up. So I went and watched the podcast, and he was really appreciative of it. So I said, I'll give him a shout out to Stephen Morris from Plymouth. So I hope you had a good birthday, mate. Hopefully we kept you company for 40 minutes or whatever, and took off the depression a little bit. But
How on earth would we
I said
do
I'd give
that?
a shout out for that. So.
Honestly, how could we cheer anybody up
Well-
having us as company on your birthday?
I'm
sorry.
about to cheer you all up with a fantastic retro game. So let's move on to the retro section.
Yes!
Wait, I had a bit where I sang something last time.
It's retro with
It's
Mike.
retro with Mike.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
and
treasure
you're in
that.
the music business, so that's
I think
a real compliment.
I think we
for
need
me.
to all record us singing that a little bit and do some of the beeps with the other people that aren't singing at the time. And each week we just put that bit in.
Yeah, can we get a jingle manufactured for
Yeah,
this, please?
let's do it. That sounds great. So this week I've gone for a game on the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis. It was from Japanese.
Are we guessing this one again? Is that
I
how
don't
it
think.
works now?
I'll be very, very impressed if you get it, but let's try anyway. So, Japanese
Well.
developer Game Arts, who went on to do things like Super Smash Brothers Brawl on the Wii, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Smash Up on the Wii and PlayStation 2. What else did they do? The Grandia series on PlayStation 2. What else did they do? They did Bomberman Generation on the GameCube, which was actually, I think that was a reasonable Bomberman. What else have we got? Lunar, Silver Star Story, J-League Champions Soccer on the Mega Drive. You're not going to get this, are you?
I'll know who this is.
Can Anton
I'm gonna
guess?
guess.
Yeah.
Shining Force?
It's not that at all. And I don't know if you guys are going to know this game, because this is one of the best games that didn't get the publicity that it deserves. Okay, so the game is called, will I tell you, or do you want to guess again?
I'm never going to guess this.
Yeah,
so I could just string
what's
a
the
few
other game
random
that
words
wasn't
together.
Grandia 2 that came out in the... That was a Dreamcast game though, so I ignored that.
What are the initials? And I'll just say something.
2 words, A-D. The first one is a name of someone, the second one is a name of a fictional... well, it's not really. Actually, it's nothing. Just ignore this. What I said about the second one.
Wait, what this? No, I wanted a clue for the second word.
Okay, so it's a very like a fictional animal.
I've got it. It's Ace Ventura, and it's a game all about fixing your teeth.
No.
Oh,
close,
that's
close.
really good.
It's very clever, but not right.
Altered Beast?
Oh, no, it's
No,
a D.
no.
A D.
That's a good guess,
like
though.
a fictional.
But it's not right.
Oh, mate.
I don't think you're going to get this. I don't even know if this game is that well known, so I'm interested to know if you guys know this. To give you a bit of background, it came out a slightly different version in
Something
America.
dragon.
Close, yeah. Well, yeah, I'll give you that. The second word is the second word is Dragoon.
That was almost me. I almost got it. What would the first one be? A name? Arthur.
Yeah, no, it's not Arthur, Alistair, none of those. Begins with A. It's. I'll give you the name of the game because we literally will be here all year. It's Alisia Dragoon.
Well, I was never going to get that.
I've heard of it.
Never heard of
So,
it.
Alisia Dragoon was a platform game from 1992. When I say platform, it's a little bit more to it than that. It was... The whole idea of the game was following Alisia in her quest to save the world by defeating the evil forces that killed her father. Now, it actually has quite a cool backstory to it, but the one thing that sets it apart is that she has certain powers that she can use throughout the game, which were really quite impressive on the Mega Drive. So she's got the Thunder Raven, which emits a thunder blast that affects enemies across the screen, the Ball of Fire, which burns enemies on contact, the Dragon Fry, which spits fireballs, and there's another one as well, and I can't remember the fourth one is, but there's 4 pets as well. She goes along and she's got the dragon behind her as well, which follows her around. It's fairly frenetic. It's all quite fast. It's quite a short game, but it's a very, very cool take on a platform. It controls really, really well too, and there's some pretty cool cutscenes. And there's a backstory. The manual came with a backstory, and I can remember getting this game when it came out. So I'd have been about 9 or 10, and it came out, and I didn't know anything about it other than I'd seen that it was getting good reviews. And I think it was maybe Mean Machines or one of those magazines that I saw it in. And I picked up a copy, and I remember playing it so much at the time. And it was they were in collaboration with an animation studio to do this called Gainax. And it's, as I say, it was kind of like a cross between a platform and a role-playing game at the time. Obviously, side-scrolling, given the limitations at the time and what they wanted to do with the effects. But it got great reviews, all into the kind of late 80% in all the big magazines at the time, some of them hitting into the 90%. The downside to it was that it was released in Japan first, and the Mega Drive wasn't a particularly popular device in Japan at the time, didn't sell that many, and it then got published in North America and Europe, but they didn't have any major advertising for the game, so it didn't actually happen for a while that anybody actually really knew about it, because the advertising, they kind of missed the boat with it. And then eventually what they did was they made some changes to the Western version of it, and instead of having the anime styling, she was portrayed as a golden bikini wearing female barbarian on the box cover outside of Japan. So,
what's crazy is it sounds like Golden Axe.
Very similar,
Yeah.
but I think a better game. And I know that's controversial because Golden Axe is it was a pioneering game at the time, but to play for me, and I had both games. If I was picking one at the time, it would be Alisia Dragoon every single time, and she does look a bit like the female equivalent in the Western version of a kind of Golden Axe character, but it was very, very different to anything else that was out at the time. It was also later on. It's kind of been recognised as this is one of the things that I was reading about, that a relatively early video game to challenge a gender bias that was prevalent in the industry at the time, because it had a female protagonist and because it was taken from a different perspective. She wasn't the damsel in distress, all that kind of thing. It was kind of a pioneering game from that point of view as well. And it was just a really, really cool game. If you get a chance, have a look at some of the artwork from it. Very interesting. There might have been some spin-offs from it as well. And I saw someone review it as well when I was looking up the game. Someone reviewed it about 4 or 5 years ago. And they gave it a really, really good review. And this is going back and playing it now, 10, 15 years later. And you can pick up a copy.
Yeah, I've googled it as well.
Yeah, you've seen that cover before.
I just thought it looked kind of like the cover of some kind of D&D novel. Yeah, maybe / Conan.
I think I actually had this game. You know that? I think I actually had this game.
I think a lot of people picked it up. It was reduced quite quickly in price. I remember that because I remember it came down, and a lot of people had it in their collection, and a lot of people just put it aside and didn't really play it initially because they just saw it as maybe being another typical platformer on the Mega Drive. And it's certainly not that. There's a lot more to it than that. And I can remember playing it without any preconception, really, other than I knew that it had a good review. And I really was surprised at how much depth there was to it. So if you get a chance, if you've got a Mega Drive kicking about and you can get hold of a copy, have a go of it. I think you'll be surprised. It's actually still reasonably playable, and it's got a nice nice touches to it. Certainly the
Do you
powers
play
are
as
cool.
the dragon as well?
As far as I remember, the dragon just follows what you do. So I think there are certain powers that the dragon then takes over. But I think essentially, no, you're controlling her.
Because
But
I just saw that, like, in this screenshot, the dragon has HP and a level and stuff as well. So
well, maybe there is a bit where you can take over the. I can't remember. It's been so long since I actually played the game. But it came up when we were talking about games. I can't remember which one it was we're talking about. I think it was from your chat actually, Kat, of JRPGs and things, and it stuck out as one of the very first games that I played that was different in terms of platforms, and because it had a kind of it had come from a Japanese developer, it just had a different feel to it. But it's a great game. It came out a little bit later on in the cycle as well of Mega Drive games, and it wasn't necessarily one of the ones they really pushed. But if you get a chance, go and check it out.
Cool.
Lovely.
Looks good.
So there we go. Have we any other business before we say goodbye?
It's like our meeting, like any other business.
No, just the same as last time. Remember, we're on YouTube now, so if you want to go on there, if you've not got a SoundCloud or Apple, on the YouTube,
get it right.
So if you don't have a SoundCloud or Apple podcast account, then you can jump on YouTube, and we've got all the episodes going back all the way to number 1.
And we are
so jump on there.
We are appearing on other podcasts as well on Android phones too. I know that because we've been told by a couple of people who are listening. So that's good as well.
You what?
So
Pardon?
You what?
We said we're appearing on other podcast platforms on Android-based devices. So
I was very confused. I was like, what do you mean we're in other podcasts? I haven't been in any other
just sabotaged the podcast and take
Or
over
like,
there.
it's like you've all been recording other podcasts.
oh
without
yeah,
me.
that's Gamify 25.8, but we don't talk about that in front of you. The one without Cat.
It's just Nintendo Switch podcast.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Brilliant. Okay, well, that's about it. Have a fabulous week and enjoy your gaming world and enjoy all the releases that we've talked about and all the ones that we didn't talk about. And remember, get in touch with us if you've got any suggestions or anything that you think we should make Cat play as well. That's always exciting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But also remember that I need to be able to actually access it hardware-wise and also software-wise. So
Don't worry, we'll get that for you, Kat. We'll get
okay, well, yeah. Anyway, send your suggestions, and I'll have my review of the Ned Flanders thing next week.
Cat plays crap.
Sounds good.
Cat plays crap.
I still need to ask
her to play to that.
I still need to ask our listener James what his idea was, because it was definitely a play on words and I've forgotten it completely. But never mind.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for this week. We'll be back for episode 16 next week, so we're flying through the episodes.
Sweet 16.
I know, crazy. That's like 4 months of podcasts. Right, we will see you next week. Have a fantastic week. Goodbye.
Take care, guys. Bye.